All right, everybody. As promised, here's a video walkthrough of what all these tools look like when put together. So I have Microsoft Word open here. I'm going to start with a blank document. And for your practice activity, the first thing I asked you guys to do was include a quote from a book. So I have a nice book here called All I Really Need to Know I Learned in Kindergarten. If you haven't read it, I totally think you should. So I'm just going to grab a quick quote out of here. Let's see. And we'll do that one. Indigo air is not the same. All right, that's one of his last sentences. This is one of his short stories. It obviously makes no sense without everything else contained within, but that's okay. So that's the quote I'm going to use. Now, to create the proper citation, I'm going to go to References, and I can go to Manage Sources and add a new source that way. Or if you want, since my cursor is already at the end of my sentence, I can just go to Insert Citation and add a new source that way. That way, when I'm done adding my new source, the citation will already be created. So first, all right, good, got to choose book, make sure I have the right source. Oh man, I forgot. The first thing I have to double check is make absolutely certain I'm using the right style. Now, most of your school papers, you guys are going to use MLA, so I'll use that for my example here. And I'll go back to Insert Citation and add new source. The reason it's really important that I choose that style first is it will control the fields that I have to fill in about my source here, because different styles ask for different information. So again, got to choose the right type, book. Now, the author is Robert Fulghum. I don't think I needed that L there. You'll notice, guys, if you cannot find an individual author, you can check this corporate author box and type the name of the company that is responsible for that source that you're using. The title of the book, All I Really Need to Know I Learned in Kindergarten. The year it was published. Usually in a book, you'll find this in the first few pages in the front. And that's often also where you'll find the city and publisher as well. All right, the most recent copyright on this book is 2003. The city in which it was published was Toronto. And the publisher is Random House. All right, now the medium, guys, means how did I access the information? In this case, it's a physical book, so I accessed it by physical copy. So is it internet? Is it print? Is it text? So this was a physical copy of the book. So it is a print medium. I'm going to click OK. Now you'll notice I entered a lot of information, and the only thing that popped up was Fulghum, was the last name of the author. But if I go to Manage Sources, you'll see, don't worry, all of that information is still there. It didn't lose it. The in-text citation is just meant to help guide readers who the source was, so that when they look at the end of my document and my works cited or bibliography, they can see which author I used here. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create my bibliography, or in this case, works cited, because that's a work I cited within my paper. But that needs to be on its own page at the end of my document. Now I could enter 20 times, but that's awfully silly and bad formatting. So I'm actually going to go to Insert and create a page break. You might remember the breaks a little bit from when we worked with columns, that if I turn on my show hide formatting, you can see where I have the page break. So that brought me down to page 2. I'm going to go back to References and create my works cited. Now you'll see all of the details that I put into my form, and they're properly formatted. the author's last name, first name with a comma. The title was italicized with a period after it. The city with a colon, followed by the publisher, a comma, and the year it was published, and the medium in which I access it. So notice you didn't have to remember any of these rules. Microsoft Word knew them because you selected MLA as the style. As always, if you have any questions or concerns while you're working, please let me know.